Henny the Moore reporting live from the liquor store. How's everybody doing today, man? And as y'all can see with y'all 2 eyes or 4 eyes like me, I got my boy Cole Cowboys in the building with me in the liquor store, man. What's good with you today, my brother?
It's good, man. Hey, appreciate you having me on, man. I'm looking forward to breaking down some running backs and tight ends, man.
Yeah, indeed, my guy. And as he already let you in on the secret, we will be analyzing the running back room and the tight end room for the Dallas Cowboys in the 2023 season. So, and honestly, the reason that I chose these two position groups, the running back room. Oh, that's myself talking over. Hold on.
Yeah,
oh, okay. No, you good.
I got my YouTube on.
Hey, honestly, the reason you good, man. Yeah, you Gucci.
I'm good.
No, you all right.
Okay, go
ahead.
You
Gucci, man. No, the reason I was looking into that, man, though, they say that that's our weakest link right now. They have a bunch of question marks about these tight ends right now, and then of course, outside of Tony Pollard, they got a lot of question marks about the running backs behind them. So we'll take the time and take a look at that. But everybody on the way into the liquor store, I'm gonna need y'all to do a couple things for me, man. First, I'm gonna need y'all to hit that like button. I need y'all to help me manipulate this algorithm so more folks can find their way inside the liquor store. Secondly, I'm gonna need y'all to hit that share button. If you hit that share button, you let everybody know the liquor store is open for business. And then thirdly, man, I'm gonna need y'all to slap the shit out of an Eagles fan, man. Because if you slap the shit out of an Eagles fan, I will be able to get you half off for all the merchandise inside the liquor store. And we got what you need to succeed, man. We got hen, we got gin, we got Cowboy readers. We even got bottled Eagle tears from this past Super Bowl loss. It's been about 4-5 months. They getting potent. This shit is damn near as strong as fit now. So you might need to be a little careful if you ingest it. So you might just want to buy it as a collector's item, put up on the shelf. But we do got that on deck for you. And also, just to let everybody know and remind y'all, we are still doing the Dallas Cowboy ticket raffle. We will be giving away tickets for you to go and see the Dallas Cowboys completely and utterly destroy the Philadelphia Eagles live and in person, man. It's $10 per entry. You can send either Cash App, which is $Henny the Moore, or you can send it through the Super Chats or Super Stickers. First place winner. And we got 3 prizes, just in case you thought we were being cheap. We got 3 prizes. The first place winner will receive a Dallas Cowboy ticket with a seat attached to it, so you can sit down, enjoy your Cowboyito, enjoy your mojito, and watch the Dallas Cowboys kick Philadelphia Eagles ass. Because remember, the Eagles have not won in Dallas since 2017, so this is going to be a surefire victory. This will be a home game. I'm not sending y'all off to horrible Philadelphia where you can catch syphilis just by breathing the air. So I will be sending you to Dallas, to that nice stadium, to see the Dallas Cowboys destroy the Philadelphia Eagles. Second place winner is going to get a ticket for general admission. So you could be with the rest of the fanatics and the maniacs, and you can stand up and watch the game. But the real Dallas Cowboy fans, they rock in any weather. So you still will have you a good time. And then the third place winner is either going to get themselves a PlayStation 4 or a Dallas Cowboy jersey of the winner's choice. I will let you decide. So if any of that interests you, or if you just want to support the content and show some love, you can hit the Cash App or the Super Chats, man. We do appreciate y'all. So now that we got that out the way, I consider that my regular commercial. Yeah, so, let's just jump right into it, man. What are your thoughts? We'll start with the running back room. What is your comfort level with the running back room going into 2023? And then I will give my thoughts on it.
Yeah, as far as the running back room, I say I'm kind of lukewarm with it, but I do have faith. A lot of people will be real skeptical on Tony Pollard, of course, coming off that injury. We don't know how he's going to be coming off it. From what I'm seeing, I like the way how he's running, and I like how they're using him, kind of keeping him, keeping the touches down, rolling him in slowly. But one thing that kind of keeps me up is Malik Davis. Malik Davis is somebody that we haven't really gave a chance, just like Tony Pollard in the beginning, So maybe this might be an outbreak season for him if given a chance. So, I got high hopes on Malik Davis. And who knows, a lot of stuff going on. We never know. We might get Zeke. I don't know. But if we were to get him, that would up the ante for him.
Right. And listen, man, I do have my questions and concerns about the running back room outside of Tony Pollard. Because, Tony Pollard, cool. He was a Pro Bowl running back last year, had over 1,000 yards rushing. had over 1,300 yards from scrimmage on the offensive side of the ball. He did the damn thing, right? He like Tony Pollard was a very productive player last year. He did a lot of good things for us, gave us a lot of explosive runs, and we're moving over to a zone running scheme, which he probably will excel at, right? Because in order to excel as a running back in a zone scheme, you have to have speed, you have to have vision, and you have to have the ability to get the cutback lane. So Tony Pollard got all that. So he should excel, in doing that. The issue is not Tony Pollard, right? Because I'm expecting him, to be healthy by the time we actually need him to play. I expect him to be healthy for a majority of the season.
Right.
My question marks come with somebody like Malik Davis, like you mentioned. That man has 38 career carries.
Yeah.
Like 38 career carries. This is what we were basing everything off of. And then they were sporadic. It's not like he had a big game here and there. Like they barely gave this man the ball over the course of a 17-game season, and then they outright refused to give him a ball, during the course of a playoff game when Tony Pollard got hurt, and you needed a secondary running back to help Ezekiel Elliott out. So that's one of my concerns. And then when you really go through, the rest of these guys, man, what do we really know about anybody? What do we know about Rico Dowd? He's in the same position as Will Davis, right?
You know what I'm saying? Always
yeah. And listen, I was surprised they brought him back. Just to be 100% with you, I was surprised that he made his way back onto the roster. So we have him, and then you got Ronald Jones, right? People be calling him Rojo. I say he's not good enough to have no nickname. So like everything else, outside of Tony Pollard is strictly projections. Yeah. And hey, shout out to my brother David Sorrells for the raffle entry, my guy. They got you another one. So let me go ahead and update you real quick and let you know how many you have. So my brother, they got you got 2 entries now. So salute to you. And if you want to be like my boy David and improve your odds of winning this Dallas Cowboy ticket, PlayStation 4 or jersey, either hit the Cash App or hit the supers and the super stickers. Salute to y'all. But yeah, man. So there is really not a lot of guaranteed production on this roster right now, right? Is there? Yeah, Savage Banks to call this man Fumblerooski.
Yeah, hey, he ain't lying. He is not lying, man.
So but yeah, continue though, bro.
Oh no. I was just agreeing with you. Like Ronald Jones, like I was the one. I even tweeted. I said maybe we should give Ronald Jones a chance. But I'm like, I looked at more of his film. Checking him out, and I don't know, man. He's still really not moving the needle for what the Cowboys would want. You know what I'm saying? But let me ask you this: I'm hearing his name in the chat. What about Hunter Lukey? Would he move a needle in the running back room? Is that somebody you would see be like, okay, maybe he can that type of Zeke, guy. Maybe he can run, red zone. He's been very athletic in college, but at the same time, he's a question mark. We haven't seen him in the past, but do you think he'll move the needle a little bit in the running back room? Also,
man, let me tell you the truth. I see more value in Hunter as a fullback than I do in seeing him as a running back. I'm going to tell you why. Okay. It's not that I don't think he can run the ball at all. I'm not saying that he can't run the ball.
Yeah.
Right. But we're not just replacing 100 carries. We're not replacing 80 carries. Ezekiel Elliott was, I know people don't really realize this because he missed some time. Ezekiel Elliott was top 10 in rushing attempts last year.
He was.
He had 231 rushing attempts last year. So, it's not just the point of trying to run the ball and pass block and do this. That's a lot of touches to try to replace. So, even if he can give you something, it's going to really be at this point, even with Hunter, even if Hunter can be your short down back, what happens, over the course of the series when you need another speed back, another change of pace back. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really gonna be Tony Pollard and them. It's gonna be like a band. It's gonna be like a band. It's gonna be like who Shaka Khan and who was Shaka Khan with? I forget. Yeah, what the hell talk about. Oh, Gladys Knight and the Pips. Tony Pollard gonna be Gladys, and then the rest of
man. That's what we need. fresh legs, and that's the direction that I want us to go. So we so used to having, bell cow back, and then we'll throw in, a secondary back a couple of times. No, run all of them. You know what I'm saying? Show something different every game. That's what the Chiefs did. You know what I'm saying? They featured different backs. You never know who was going to be the primary back of that game. So just keep the defense guessing.
Well, see, I'm gonna say this though: the Dallas Cowboys have never been successful when they did anything by committee. They've never been successful when they did anything by committee, because wide receiver by committee has failed twice at this point. It's failed twice. It failed in 2018. They finally had to break down and trade away a number 1 pick to get Amari Cooper, and then it failed last year, right? Because you had CeeDee Lamb, and then Noah Brown, was ended up being your number 2 wide receiver. You had to go to Michael Gallup. You brought in T.Y. Hilton out the streets. It did not work, because when you needed an alternative to CeeDee Lamb, you had nobody, right? So we've seen 2 times that wide receiver by committee has not worked. We seen that cornerback 2 by committee did not work. Because after Anthony Brown went down, they threw everything but the kitchen sink at the cornerback 2 position, because they brought in Mullins, they brought in Kelvin Joseph. They elevated him to see what he could do. They even threw the Run Bland out there for a little bit. They preferred him at the slot. They brought in what was the boy name? They used to play for the Vikings.
You talking about as far as
the cornerback? The cornerback we picked up.
Dang, I don't even know. From the Vikings.
Yeah, remember we picked up a cornerback. We picked up a cornerback from the Vikings. Like chat box, y'all know what I'm talking about. Throw it in the chat box real quick. Xavier Rose, thank you.
Yeah, when I'm thinking of Xavier, I'm thinking about his former team. You know what I'm saying? But that didn't do nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, and that's the point. We ran out there. We ran like 7 different combinations at cornerback 2 out there. So there is never a time where the Dallas Cowboys have went by committee, and been successful, even along the offensive line. You know what I'm saying? You remember when Tyron Smith went down, we didn't have this one proven swing tackle or nothing. That's why we had the catastrophe in Atlanta that happened that one year.
Don't remind me of that one, man. I saw that live.
Yeah, man. So
but
that's why I'm concerned about the running back room, bro.
Let me tell you, I'll tell you this, man. And I just a little peak of sunshine, man. This is a new coach. When we did those committee things, we did that with Kellen Moore and Jason Garrett. Mike proven a lot of our, the things we went back and said, man, remember when we did this and it didn't work? He turned that around and be like, oh, dang, this new to us. When a player went down, we already knew we were going to probably lose the game. You know what I'm saying? Like a primary player. With Mike McCarthy, we picking it up. We like, okay, we can get in it. You know what I'm saying? So I understand what you're saying. I feel you, man, because I would say the same thing, but just maybe the running back committee might work for us. It keeps fresh legs. That's the only thing. Now, wide receiver by committee, no. I ain't buying the wide receiver by committee. What teams are doing that right now that's being successful? None.
Nobody.
They tried to do that crap with when Tom Brady was with the Patriots. That's Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? Tom, you know what I'm saying? That was their system. And the game has moved on since then. People figure that out. Now you got to have your main weapon. You know what I'm saying? CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks to go out and shine. But as far as the running back committee, I think that'll work. I think that will work.
Man, listen.
It depends.
I would much prefer to have a proven commodity.
Yeah.
Because and you listen, it may work. You know what I'm saying? Like it may, it may work. Crazier things happen between heaven and earth, right? But proven commodities usually work out, better than hopes and prayers, in just in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
Because think about everywhere else. You feel secure about every other position group on your team because you got proven commodities. You know what I'm saying? Like you added a proven commodity in Brandon Cooks. You feel great about the wide receiving room now, and you just added one player. You just traded. You swapped out Noah Brown for Brandon Cooks. You feel like shit now. Right? Hey, same thing about the cornerback room. All you did was swap out Anthony Brown, for Stephon Gilmore, like, oh man, we might have we might have one of the best rooms in the league now. And really, all it takes is that one established player to do that for you, man. Because same thing with the offense. We went from 26th ranked offense with Cooper Rush. OG Dak Prescott come back from injury. And now you got number one offense again. You felt good. We felt good with Noah Brown for a little bit because Dak Prescott was out there slaying it.
Man, he didn't move the needle. He moved it a little bit. He did a little bit. But I get you saying, man. Like, okay, so let me ask you this. So, we have some running backs that's in the market right now on free agency. Who will move the needle for you to pick up? Say, for instance, Jerry and Steven want to go ahead and pick up one from free agency. Yeah, Brady, man, Leonard Fournette. Who else out there? Well, Zeke.
Any of them? Listen, player acquisition is not about pet cats or this, that, and the third. I wouldn't mind Zeke. I wouldn't mind Leonard Fournette. I wouldn't mind Dalvin Cook because I know for a fact all three of them are better. Running back twos or running back 1Bs or whatever you would want to call them in this system that Malik Davis would be.
Yeah.
So like
I just I don't know. I just feel like we should have gave. I wish we would have gave him more touches last year so we would know. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it came down when Tony Pollard went down. He showed a lot of flashes. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It would have been nice to at least know what we're working with. But,
and I completely agree with that. Yeah. There was an opportunity to go out there and give him carries to see how he would respond in a pressure situation, and the Dallas Cowboys did not, take that opportunity to do so. Yeah. So, I wouldn't have minded, especially with the way the game was going.
Exactly, man. But okay, say for instance we got Zeke, we signed him back in. Are you afraid that they will go back to politics with Zeke and not let Tony Pollard shine more, like give him more touches?
Nah, because the politics would be in Tony Pollard's favor at this point. Because Tony Pollard would be the highest paid running back at this point, right? So they're getting $10 million fully guaranteed, no matter what the hell Tony Pollard did, right? Yeah. So the same way that Michael Gallup ran his ass out there, and he probably wasn't ready to play. Really, they're gonna be the same thing with Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard is going to get a bunch of carries. Now, I don't really know how that, and that's another thing I'm curious about, because Tony Pollard, as amazing as he was, right? If you average out his total touches, carries and receptions, he only averaged about 14.5 touches a game, and that's carries and receptions combined over the course of a 16-game season. Because he missed one game due to injury or rest, I forget. But he played 16 games. He only had like 232 carries. Touches altogether combined. If you divide that up, that's about 14.5 a game. So my real concern would be how often are they planning to actually give Tony Pollard the ball? You know what I'm saying? So, I want to know, like, can he, especially coming off of a leg injury, I might feel a little bit more comfortable with it had he been completely healthy coming into the season. Oh, yeah. But, the fact that he is, just recovered from a broken leg, the fact that you're planning on increasing his workload, because you have to at this point, right? You got too many touches to make up for and not enough talent to make up for it. So I really want to know, like, how many touches Tony Pollard is going to get. It really how many can you give him? Like 14.5, that was the sweet spot. No, this last year that got you 1,300 yards for scrimmage. Can you give him 18 and he'll still be fresh and rejuvenated and able to break out these 60-yard runs? Can you squeeze out 20? Or do you feel comfortable giving Malik Davis 12 or 13 touches in the game? Like, these are questions you got to ask yourself, before you go to war. Like, it's easy to say, yeah, F them fools over there. We're going to go over there and do this, that, and the third. But, they out there with choppers, or you guys a slingshot, and God ain't called you to go down there and slay Goliath, then, it's some issues. It's some issues. So, you're going to have to figure out what you want your offensive rushing attack to look like. You know what I'm saying? Because Tony Pollard, I think he's a very explosive, very, very dynamic running back. But one thing I have not seen him do would be a bell cow.
Yeah, and that ain't his style. One thing he can just break out, into open space, and that's when he's dangerous. Being in open space. But yeah, as far as him being, and we seen a little bit in the Green Bay Packer game in situations like that. He wasn't able to break as free as we wanted him to, and that's what we was like, man. If we had Zeke, maybe things would have been a little bit more different in that game. The way we run the ball. So I do see a concern in that category as far as being in situations like that. Will he be able? Because you got to think we're going against some big defensive lines in this league. We got Washington. They got a great good big guys in the middle. I think the Eagles got that. It's most of these teams in this league, they're building up their defenses, to plug up those holes. So
Right.
some type of sprint back there, man. Nobody on our roster right now is that type of guy. We had Zeke, but man, I mean, at this point, I'm like, shoot, I kind of hope we get him or get like a Leonard Fournette to go along, just for situations like that.
Mm-hmm. And listen, we know, based on the offensive system that Brian Schottenheimer was running in Seattle, so he might have changed or fine-tuned some things, but his calling card is a power run game. That is his calling card. He turned Chris Carson into a 1,200-yard rusher. You know what I'm saying? He produced the number one rushing offense in 2000. Yeah, in 2018 they were the number one rushing offense. In 2019 they were number 4, and even in 2020, a shout out to Dwayne Brown, for the super sticker, my brother. I do appreciate you for the love, my guy. And that was enough to actually get you another raffle entry. So, Dwayne, you now have 8 raffle entries, and that puts you solely in second place. So you got the second best odds of winning the Dallas Cowboy grand prize, which is the ticket with a seat attached to it. So, salute to you, my brother. But yeah, man. In regards to that, we know that he is going to lean heavily on the power run because that's really where his offense starts. It's not the same, at what Sean McVay does in LA, but Sean McVay, sets up his offense with the stretch run, and then he play actions off of it to get his shot plays, and then you'll see the West Coast principles, in the play action schemes. They'll run mesh, they'll run. Some different things, some levels to get some shots down the field. And he does something very, very similar to that in how he, runs his concepts in the play action. So he'll have to run the game. He runs the ball a lot in order to set up his play action game. So that's why I'm concerned about the running backs. You need to be able to hold up.
One thing that probably might help with this running back room as well is more screen passes, because that's something that we lack. You know what I'm saying? The past couple of years, we didn't do screen plays, and that's something I feel like Tony Pollard can flourish in. He did a lot of that in college. Running like being used really as like a receiving type of back too. So maybe we'll see more of that in this system.
Man, I'm glad you said screens, because I stayed with some stuff to pull up. So here we go. If you look at the bottom, let me see if I can slide this now. It's cool. We both in the middle. So if you look at the bottom right here, this is where Dak Prescott ranked every year of his career in terms of screen attempts. So in 2016, he only had 34 screen attempts, which was good for 21st in the league. Like you mentioned, we don't ever usually do them. 2017 was even worse. We fell down to 29th. So there were a lot of quarterbacks that used more screens than him. 2018, still not even top 10. 2019, 22nd, 2021, 12th, 2022, 30th. So screens have not really been part of this offensive system, and I do think because we're moving to a West Coast, there will be more. And just to throw this out there, Patrick Mahomes was top 10 in play action uses and screen uses. I like throwing that out there. If you ever wanted to know, how much these layups help players.
And who else is good at play action plays alongside of them?
Yeah.
So that's something they need to do. You know what I'm saying?
And
they need to set that up.
It's right up here too. We talk about play action.
Yeah.
Like for his career, 68.3% completion percentage on play action passes, 48 touchdowns off of play action to only 11 interceptions. And if you just want to go be recency bias, last 2 seasons, 20 touchdowns to 3 interceptions when using play action. So, damn good, production,
Yeah.
when it utilizes that concept, just the fact that we haven't really used it a lot.
Yeah, hopefully all this changed, man, because offensively, like, we took a big dip down since, you know what I'm saying? Just really since losing, Kellen Moore getting figured out and all that stuff. So hopefully, you know what I'm saying, we can bounce back this year with it, because the proof is in the pudding right here, man. Like, there's so many holes that this offense can do,
Yeah. So, this is one of the reasons why I am, very ecstatic about this season. Dak Prescott finally, is healthy. His wide receivers are finally healthy. We know about the supposed big three that we had, when when we acquired Amari Cooper, we ended up getting CeeDee Lamb, but we got to realize those guys only played 12 games together. Like the three of them and Dak Prescott played 12 games together over the course of a 2-year stretch, because Dak Prescott himself only played 5 games in 2020, right?
Yeah.
Then we also know that Dak Prescott missed the game in 2021. Amari Cooper, missed some time with his vaccination issue. CeeDee Lamb missed a game and a half due to a concussion. Michael Gallup missed damn near the whole season in 2021 due to 2 different injuries. If I'm not mistaken, the first one was a hamstring. Then, of course, he tore his ACL.
Got hurt again.
Yeah, so those 4 guys played 12 games together over a 2-year stretch. In 2 seasons, they only got 12 games out of each other. There's a realistic possibility that Dak plays more games this year with Brandon Cooks, CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Gallup than he ever did with the last big three he had.
Yeah.
So, that will also lead to more production. So that's why I'm happy, with the fact that the guys are here. They actually went out there and were proactive in getting a top tier number 2 wide receiver, right? Because really Brandon Cook's been a number 1 since he came into the damn league.
Exactly. So we ain't asking him to do much. We got our number 1, you know what I'm saying? So Cook's gonna, I said this, Cook's gonna, he about to have a good year. That dude about to ball out. I'm ready for it.
Man, what you say about 1,100 yards?
Yeah, man. That's what that's what everybody was really aiming towards, 1,100. And I see, man, that's range. And for a number 2 receiver, man, that's what I want. You know what I'm saying? Because CeeDee Lamb gonna really cook, man. I see him at least at 15, 16.
Yes, listen, if they continue to use CeeDee Lamb in the manner he was used throughout the course of last season, they finally found how to use him. They put him in the slot. They used him at the motion man a lot. They moved him around the field. So I'm very ecstatic about this wide receiver duo and really our whole wide receiving core. That's why we're talking about running backs and tight ends, right? Because I'm elated about everything else. So speaking of the tight ends, right? Because we already know that we're out for the most part on running back room. We need to find somebody else to come in and be able to be productive for in the place of Tony Pollard, because he gonna need a running mate. Tight end is definitely something that I don't think is a strength anymore, but I don't think it's a concern because, well, I'm gonna start with you, man. What are your thoughts about tight end? I'm gonna let you go, then I'm gonna go through this whole little soapbox.
Yeah. Hey, to be honest, man, I think the tight end room gonna be okay. I think they'll be fine. I think Jake Ferguson will emerge into what Dalton Schultz, and probably really will be better than Dalton. This is just my feeling about it. Think about way back when we had Jason Witten. When we lost Jason Witten, everybody was like, "We screwed." You know what I'm saying? All of a sudden, we thought Blake Jarwin would be the guy. He shined a little bit. We wouldn't, and his second running mate was Dalton Schultz. Nobody was paying attention to Dalton Schultz. Then Dalton Schultz ended up being the guy. So I'm like, hey, I think Jake Ferguson could be that guy. More athletic than Dalton Schultz, and he's a better blocker than him as well. So I think we're fine, man. I think we'll be okay. It's him being tight end 1.
Yeah, so there are a couple of things that you said that I do agree with. I do think that Jake Ferguson will flat out win the tight end 1 contest over Schoonmaker and Hendershot. It's just the fact that he was the one that was the most productive. You know, he's been working out with Dak Prescott. He's already had that year on his belt in development, so he should be ahead of Schoonmaker at this point.
Mhm.
And I do think that he'll do the role that they asked him to do. Decently enough, right? I'm not saying that right off the bat he'll be able to replace the production of Dalton Schultz, but I'm also under the impression that he won't have to. You know what I'm saying? Because history itself shows, when Mike McCarthy has a dominant tight end, he will throw them the ball.
Yeah.
And when he does not, that is not something that holds him back. He just usually has his quarterback throw the ball to the wide receivers more. Right. So let me show you what I was talking about.
Okay.
Go to window, boom, there you go. So this is tight end one, in Mike McCarthy's offense, right? Over the course of his career, and I did not include, guys when he wasn't calling the plays. When he was not the one calling the plays, I did not include it. 2006, he had Bubba Franks, 53 targets, 232 yards, not a single touchdown. Donald Lee, 63 targets, 575 yards, 6 touchdowns. Again, the very next year, he was the leading tight end, 50 targets, 303 yards, 5 touchdowns. Jermichael Finley, right? Very dominant tight end, athletic freak, 72 targets, 676 yards, 5 touchdowns. No Finley due to injury the very next year, which, by the way, is the year they won their championship. Andrew Quarles stepped up. Well, he was the number one tight end by default. 33 targets, 238 yards, 1 touchdown. Wasn't really part of the offense. Then you see Jermichael Finley came back, 92 targets, 767 yards, 8 touchdowns. 87 targets, 667 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then, of course, his career got derailed by injuries. Quarles had 53 targets for 312, 2 touchdowns, 46 targets, 323 yards, 3 touchdowns. Jared Cook had a cup of coffee with them in 2016, 51 targets, 300. Yeah, remember old Jared Cook, 377 yards, 1 tutty. Martellus Bennett, 38 targets, 233 yards, not a single touchdown. So I said all that to say, if he finds himself with somebody like Jermichael Finley, who can be that vertical threat at the tight end position, who's more of a pass catcher, athletic freak, he'll throw him the ball. Any other time though, you get in where you fit in. He wasn't drawing up a bunch of plays to get the tight ends involved. That's why he had all these wide receivers getting off, right?
Yeah.
That's why that's one of the main reasons why I'm not too concerned about the tight end position, because one, neither him nor Brian Schottenheimer give a damn about the tight ends in the pass game. Like if you look at Brian Schottenheimer's, play calling tenure, like his tight end numbers are worse. So they're not really being involved in the passing offense like that. Now Schottenheimer using them to block a lot. He'll run 12, he'll run some 13 personnel, right? He'll run some heavy sets, but they're not leaking out into the passing lanes all that often. So that's one of the reasons why I'm not too shook about the tight end position when you compare it to these other guys, because I don't really think they're going to be as vital to our passing attack, as they were when Kellen Moore was here. Because when Kellen Moore was here, hey, they were the option route masters. Hey, right. you gonna run this curl to the right, you're gonna run this curl to the left, boy.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, man, you right there. Because as Cowboy fans, we've been so set on we got to have like that tight end guy. You know what I'm saying? This type of play scheme is opening up our wide receivers to really eat. You know what I'm saying? So I like what I'm seeing right there, because a tight end, you want to use these guys to at least to block and be able to help other wide receivers create space. You know what I'm saying? So I'm all for that. I wouldn't be upset if Jake Ferguson's numbers was down because other wide receivers was up. You know what I'm saying? So that was some good work right there.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I would much rather us throw the ball to a Jalen Tolbert or Michael Gallup or a CeeDee Lamb or a Brandon Cooks over than just dumping it off to my tight end. And there's a time and place for it. If they want to get the tight ends involved in the red zone, right? If you want to throw them, you want to throw them some balls in the red zone because they're big targets. That's cool. I understand that. It's a condensed area of the field. Not a lot of room to work in. You need a big body target, down there. But in between the 20s, you got way too much speed and versatility at the wide receiver position this year to be fooling with your damn tight ends like that.
Exactly, man. Hey, shout out to Ephraim Brown for the $10 donation. I appreciate that.
Hey, salute. That's my brother Dwayne, man. Always showing love to the content, man.
Dwayne,
Salute.
Hey, I appreciate you, Dwayne.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
So
man.
and listen, I think in terms of blocking tight ends, we got some pretty good blocking tight ends. I think Jake Ferguson, can get the job done as a blocker. Yeah. They spent a second round pick on Schoonmaker.
Schoonmaker better be that guy. He better be blocking out. But from what I'm seeing on his tape, he's solid. They ran the whole offense through him. So hopefully they can transfer over to the NFL level. If he do that, man, we cooking with someone to run the game. I'll be a little bit more comfortable. You know what I'm saying? If he's one of the solid points of opening up these holes for these running backs.
Yeah, man. Listen, I'm definitely fine with that. Because you've had some questions about the health of your offensive line in regards to, somebody like Terrence Steele, who is one of your better run blockers. I don't mind them, having some good blocking tight ends out on the field together, man. He said, hey, the original people were tripping off there. He said, curl to the right or curl to the left, boy. Yep. Hey, for real. Hey, man. Either that, they're gonna sit down right in the middle of the field, man.
Exactly. And he found them hot pot.
Yeah, so yeah.
My boss was there. but okay. So while we're on tight ends, how you feel about Sean McEwen? You think he'll be able to make it on the roster?
It's gonna be tough.
That's gonna be like he a weak link in that room, man. If they very high on Schoonmaker, especially with him being a second round pick, he's like gonna be like the odd man out. Yeah, he been doing pretty solid when it came to blocking a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But he still be the weak man out because they high on Hendershot, they're high on Ferguson, and they high on Schoonmaker right now.
Right, hold that thought.
Wes,
we live in the liquor store, man. Me and Cole live in the liquor store with you.
The whole world just found out that there's this hot new up and coming blogger named HDM Sports, man. You feel me?
Oh yeah.
You heard me. I had to give a little shout out to the homies. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I heard it, man. I did hear it actually. Yeah, I saw you gave me and Landlord some love and all the rest of the boys, man.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I had to show some love. I'm on my way over here to do the first pitch with it was supposed to be with Cavante Turpin, but it's gonna be with my boy Kelvin Joseph.
Okay.
So I'm about to meet them over at the stadium, literally about 4 minutes away, and then he's gonna throw out the first pitch for the Chihuahuas game, the El Paso Chihuahuas. So if your boy is out here doing the thing he loves, and that is, creating events and building relationships, man, and doing content, man. Like this is the fun part of the things I love to do.
Hey, indeed, man. So hey, what it looking like down there, man?
Shoot, man, if the weather looks better than California, I mean, it's like 101, but it's not. Like, California was cold when I left, so it was kind of weird. But I mean, it's good, man. It's cool. I mean, it's El Paso, man. If you ain't ever been to El Paso, Texas, I mean, it's definitely one of the places in Texas I would go visit because I love coming here.
Hey, this your second time in like a month, ain't it?
For real, yeah.
Hey.
Michael Parsons will be here next week.
Yeah, you gonna spin the block?
Yeah, I don't know, man. But he'll be out here for a celebrity for Aaron, because what's the running back from the Adam? Is it Aaron Jones? The running back for the Packers?
Yeah, that's Aaron Jones.
He's from here.
Yeah, he's from there.
Yeah.
He's from here. You understand? But hey, man, I ain't even trying to stutter nothing, but I'm in this little, I will stunt though. I'm in this little 2-seater bed, man. The roof is off, man, so it's kind of hard to hear y'all. You feel me? It's hard to talk right now.
Hey, shit, man. I appreciate you for calling in anyway, man. Hey, I'm gonna let you stunt, do what you gotta do though, cuz. Hey, I appreciate you for calling in and showing love to the liquor store, my brother.
You already know what it is. Hey, y'all get ready, man, because I found out from the sports con that we gonna be on. They gonna run us them passes. So we gonna be live at the sports con. If you don't know what it is, get ready because we about to show you. You already know what it is. Put down the stars up.
Peace, man. And as you heard, we will be live at the Sports Con, coming up. So y'all tap in. We'll be bring y'all exclusive content. We'll be out there with some players. It should be fun, man. So yeah. So in regards to that though, right? Can you see this?
Yeah. And that's
So
okay. I don't. Oh, type of receiving code. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So
yeah, the Seahawks.
They got the Seahawks over us, the Dolphins, Eagles, Bengals, 49ers. So, I did, start the show with just the intention of talking about the running back and tight end rooms. But I think we covered that pretty thoroughly, man. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, keep going.
So let's talk about it. So what do you think about our wide receiving core?
Man, to be honest, the way how our wide receiving core is, I believe it could be the best, man. To be honest, I think we should be at least top 5. I don't see why we got to be 6. You know what I'm saying? I see us being better than the Seattle Seahawks. And to be real, I see us being better than the 49ers because, they got Debo. But who else? Who else is more flashier than CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, and Brandon Cooks when they healthy, when everybody's fully healthy? Like, come on, man. We got the 49ers beat. Now, if they want to talk about some running backs, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, they got a running back coach, but most of the wide receivers play running back. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see why the 49ers are so high. The Dolphins, I can respect the Dolphins. They got Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. That's a good speed, but them guys ain't no route runners. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Speed guys.
And hey, real quick, shout out to the original people. For the donation, they got you an additional entry into the raffle. And Neil, you just slid one in on me, man. I gotta be paying more attention to the chat box, man. Hey, you also put an entry in, man. So let me go ahead, and add this in here. So Neil, you now have 8 entries, my guy. So that has you tied with Dwayne for the second best odds of winning the main prize, which is the Dallas Cowboy ticket with a seat attached to it. So salute to you. And then let me just slide up here and make sure. Okay, I don't see any other ones that I might have missed. So salute to you. But man, like, listen, if we just go right, because I looked at this a little bit yesterday, right?
Yeah.
This is gold. Let's not even. This is start position by position. Wide receiver number 1, right? So the Dallas Cowboys by default has one of the 6 best wide receivers in the league at wide receiver 1 because there's only 6 spots for the all-pro selection, right?
Yeah.
So he made second team all-pro. So at the bare minimum, he is the 6th best wide receiver in the league. That would mean that he would automatically this year going in would be better than the Seahawks DK Metcalf. He would be better than Debo this year, correct? Because Debo didn't make an all-pro selection. So, then let's take a look at wide receiver 2, Brandon Cooks, 6,000-yard seasons in his career, right? 6,000-yard season in his career, very close to joining the 10,000 receiving yard club. He might, if he have an amazing season this year, he might, surpass if he have like a 1,400-yard season. I'm not saying he will, but like he'll get damn near close. He'll have 10,000 yards before he leave Dallas if he stay healthy. So my point is, who the wide receiver 2 that's better than that? You can maybe say Waddle, right? You can maybe say Waddle because he's a 1,300 yards receiver. Was a number 1 option himself. Who else was the number 1? Right? Who else was number 1? Tyler Lockett, well past his prime right now. Devontae Smith wasn't even a good number 1. They had to trade for AJ Brown.
He wasn't even all-pro. He wasn't even all-pro. You know what I'm saying? They trying to.
Yeah, then you look at T. Higgins. I like T. Higgins.
I like T. Higgins.
But he ain't better than Brandon Cooks. Because T. Higgins ain't never been no number 1 receiver like that. They tried him out. They won 2 games.
Yeah.
Well, he was number one receiver.
Say, yeah, I get what you're saying. If you could pull one of them guys out, put them on the team, and let them be the number one dog where they shot.
Yeah.
We can easily say Brandon Cooks can do that.
I mean, Brandon Cook got 1,000 yards receiving as a number one with no quarterback.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, with no good quarterback play. So I know for a fact he can get it done. He said, ain't Cooks on a 1-year deal. No. Now, that's the beautiful thing. That's the beautiful thing about his acquisition. Brandon Cooks is a Dallas Cowboy this year, and he'll be a Dallas Cowboy for the 2024 season. So you have Brandon Cooks for the next 2 seasons. So, hell, you might have him longer than that if you play good.
Exactly. They got him on a cheap deal to spread it out.
Right. Hey, shout out to my brother Roster X for sliding in and showing love to the liquor store, my guy. Salute to you. And Tavis Banks said Jalen Tolbert time. Yeah, that we didn't even get, to the point of our depth. So we didn't get to the depth. Like, who are these guys number 3 wide receiver, right?
Exactly.
Michael Gallup is probably better than every single number 3 that you can run out there.
We got teams wanting to trade their number 3 wide receiver right now, man. So we doing a good job with ours.
He said, based off the unknown factors, we only got Lamb until MG gets right, and Cooks have to play for us first. The other teams already know what they have. Well, this is the thing. Like, that is a very logical, right? It is a very logical, no nonsense answer, and I'm not going to argue with you because that is fine. I do respect your thought on that, but even though he has not played for us, we have seen him play over the course of a decade. And, over the course of the decade that he's played within the NFL, he's had at least 1,000 yards season with every team that he's gone to. And the first year that he's been with a team, he has always been productive, given these statistics right here. His first year with the Saints, he had a catch percentage of 78%. First year with the Patriots when they traded for him, he had over 1,000 yards and a catch percentage of 57%. 2018, he had over 1,200 yards. And I like pointing that out because this was when he played in a very similar offensive system to what we're going to be running this year, right? It was Sean McVay, but in that division is a very copycat division. You run play action, you run the ball, you play action off of it, you take shots. That's pretty much the same offense. The wrinkles are different because there was a stretch run scheme and it's going to be a power run scheme, right? But he still excelled there. 68% catch percentage. 1,200 yards, was the number 1 wide receiver on a team that made it to the Super Bowl. Texans 68% catch percentage, 1,000 yards receiving. So he definitely was going crazy. When he got to these new teams. You definitely could say he was a plug and play, kind of guy. So I do love the fact that he was able to go out there and do the things that he did.
In 2 of these teams, he was the number 1.
Really, he was number 1 with the Saints too.
With the Saints.
Yeah, he was number 1 with the Saints, Pats, Rams. He been a number 1 all 4 stops.
Man,
but he predates Michael Thomas.
That's gonna be wild, man. That's gonna be to see him and CD go at it together, man. I'm ready. I'm ready for training camp just to see them in action, man. I'm ready to see them in pads doing this because he's gonna be real,
man. Yeah, listen, I really believe that he is probably the fastest. This is probably the fastest wide receiving core that we've had. Since Dak Prescott's been in the building.
Yeah. Right.
Because you think about it, CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup. Yeah, those guys are not like super burners. But when you look at everybody else, Brandon Cooks runs a 4.3. You got Kevontae Turpin on the team that runs a 4.2. You got Tony Pollard on the team that runs a 4.3, and he's probably going to be more involved in the passing game because this is a West Coast, system basically. Then you go even further than that. You got Jalen Moreno Cropper you brought in, runs a 4.4. You picked up Tyron Johnson, who runs a 4.3. So there is speed on this team for the first time in a very long time. They said Ayuk is nice, but he on the same level as a healthy Michael Gallup.
That's really
true. But see, Ayuk is their number 2.
Yeah,
I don't know who their number 3 is. I'm not counting. I'm not counting the tight end. I ain't counting Kittle.
Yeah, who is their number 3? They got Debo. They got Brandon Ayuk, and they got
Jennings or something like that.
Yeah, but like I said, they use the system. They West Coast too, so they running backs, they receivers too. You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, just look at the wide receiving core itself. I would say Michael Gallup is a better 3 than Jennings, right? Jenkins or Jennings, whatever that boy name is. I know for a fact Michael Gallup is better than Quez Watkins. He can't even catch the damn ball.
He's invited every day.
Yeah. So just wide receiving core. I think we have a very good wide receiving core in comparison to these other guys. Just because we're deep. Yeah.
Exactly. Man, so let me ask you this. So as far as wide receiver cores that we're against, how you feel about them having like the Seahawks? Like, are we really sold on what's his name? Metcalf? Like, he a big body receiver just like AJ Brown. Like, those are the type of guys that only do them slant. But you know what I'm saying? Would you rather have a route runner? Or would you power type of guy? You know what I'm saying? I think route runners are more, dangerous, in a sense, because they got them quick feet, they getting open. You know what I'm saying? How you feel about that?
I definitely take a route runner over, just a standard slant, slant or go ball wide receiver, because there's more things you can do with them. You know what I mean? Like, and listen, guys who are supreme route runners have longer careers because they do not solely rely on their athleticism. They get in and out their breaks. They make all the routes look the same, so they're able to create separation with just the way that they run. That's why Larry Fitzgerald, superb route runner, was able to play till he was down there 40.
Exactly.
So
I'm saying, CeeDee Lamb getting out of route runner. I mean, he got his skills from Cooper. You know what I'm saying? His foot skill has been amazing this past season. Like, he been making guys miss with his quick feet.
Yeah, he definitely is growing as a route runner. He's already a very underrated route runner at this point, man. You know
what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's very underrated as a route runner at this point, and he's only getting better. Like, we got to remember, this is just going to be his 4th year in the league.
Yeah,
it's not going to be his 4th year in the league, so we definitely know, that landlord from Wakanda, you finna start playing with the church's money. Hold on. This man is out here and slapped the offering plate out of everybody's hand, and we listen.
He don't believe it.
Yeah, my boy be trolling, man. He got good sarcasm, man. I just have to mental him. So Gallup making all that money to be our 3rd receiver. Yeah, but listen, you're handcuffed to that contract until next year. So it is what it is. Like, Michael Gallup is either going to come in here and produce, or they ain't gonna have on the team next year. They have an out of his contract next year. They can cut him, and they can free up a little bit of cap space. It won't be as much, had they not have restructured him, which they can still save some money, get out from underneath his contract and move on. Hey to you too, C. Nicole. Shout out to you for sliding into the liquor store.
I wouldn't even want them to go ahead and I wouldn't want them to cut him. I would want them to be smart and try to trade him.
Man, listen, what kind of trade value do you think Michael Gallup would have? It's really going to be dependent on what he does this year too, right?
Yeah, build him up. And if he don't do as much as we think, if he good for a trade him.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if Tolbert is shining. Now, if you got a Tolbert that's shining, that's an automatic replace. But we ain't there yet. But yeah, I mean, I'm just at the point, man. I'm tired of cuts.
Yeah, I do feel that. You might not be able to get a king's ransom, but you're right. You might be able to get something. There's always a team in a passing lead that is desperate for a wide receiver. So you might be right about that. They might need to try to find a trade partner, next year instead of just getting rid of him.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be the true. Determination. He said a healthy Michael Gallup is good with me. He ain't been healthy in 2 years. Will he be healthy this year is going to be the question.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
We know that he was still recovering last year, and we know his original injuries helped him in 2021. So we're going to have to see how healthy he is. But listen, Michael Gallup as a 3 is one of the best 3s in the league.
Yeah,
I can't really think of another third wide receiver.
How many yards you think he gonna get this year?
Mike, man, listen, he wide receiver 3. Like we were happy with Cedric Wilson getting 600 yards and 6 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So he gets me in that ballpark. I'm really more concerned about touchdowns for Michael Gallup because he is like that jump ball guy for you. Even though he's sort of a body catcher, he still elevates and catches the ball high in his damn chest. Yeah. So he's still your jump ball guy. So I would prefer him to have touchdowns. If he gets eight or 9 touchdowns, Michael Gallup did his job. He can have 300 yards. He get 8 or 9 touchdowns from me. I don't care.
Exactly. That's a win for me. I feel like he's gonna have a bounce back, with him with a whole year removed of that ACL, and we're not asking him to do too much too. That's another thing.
Oh yeah. But listen, people in their proper roles perform above, expectations. You know what I'm saying? Like when you put people in a proper role and you set the proper expectations for them, everything works out fine. Michael Gallup probably is not going to be that 1,100 yard guy again. We're not even running the same kind of system. He's not going to get that many targets because when he did that, he was the number 2. Like that Michael Gallup might not run through the door, but this Michael Gallup can still be, efficient. He can still score me some touchdowns. He can still do, all these other things for me for my team to succeed. He still can have that toe drag swag on the sideline and make those contested catches and things like that. He has a role. You know what I'm saying? Like, and White West, who just called in. Shout out to my brother. He always had this perfect analogy for the wide receiving room. He said your wide receiving room should look like a basketball team. You know what I'm saying? Like there should be guys. You should have you an assist guy. You should have you a 3-point shooter. You should have you a guy you throw lobs to at the rim, just dunk on everybody and their mama. A defensive specialist to stop Kobe and them. Like you got your primary scorer. You got all these different roles on a basketball team. That's really how your wide receiving core is set up too, right? Because you got your home run hitter. You got your primary wide receiver, right? And CD Lamb. You got your possession receiving guys. So there are different roles for different guys. You even have guys on the team just for the red zone.
Yeah.
Right. So there are particular roles for each wide receiver to fill, and I do still think there's a great role for Michael Gallup on this team. He just got to stay healthy.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Him staying healthy. I mean, as long as he out there producing and actually being comfortable with his body, not double against his. That's one of the reasons he kind of fell off last year. He didn't trust his body. He didn't trust the knee, and that caused like disaster when it came to the turnovers. You know what I'm saying? Because Dak gonna trust you, man. He gonna throw you the ball if he feel like he trusts you. So you gotta go out and be able to catch that. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully he's, I'm not gonna say he's gonna be fully healthy, but much more healthier than he was last year, more comfortable with his body. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And listen, he's not wrong about this statement. He said Michael Gallup's not really a West Coast style wide receiver. When you think about a West Coast style wide receiver, you think about being fast, explosive, good with the ball in space, good run after the catch. Those are things that you think about, in terms of a West Coast wide receiver. But but it still is going to be like a gumbo of offensive concepts that we're running. We're not going to be a complete West Coast offense, and we're not going to be a complete digit system offense, what we saw with Kellen Moore. I'm sure they'll keep some principles from the digital offense so they can stay multiple. It's easier to know what a 9 route or a 2 or a 1 route is over knowing what the hell you're supposed to do on Spider Wide Banana. I'm sure that's easier. But
I heard it.
Go ahead.
What you saying?
Huh?
What you were saying? My bad.
No, I was saying it's easier to understand what a 9 ball is, a 2 ball or 1, right? I just say go one or 1, go run a 9, go run a 3. You know what I'm saying? Like what those routes are. It might be a little bit more wordier or a little bit more vague. And all right, on Spider Wide Banana, I'm supposed to do this, but on Spider Wide Monkey, I'm supposed to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like. It's easier to understand your assignment when you just strictly use the digit system. It allows you to change on the fly, adapt to what the defense is doing, and you can properly counter it. But Those work fine, but at the same time, I still want them to get away from the option routes that
And
he was employing.
that's that, from what I heard, they were saying that they was only going to use like 70% of the old system and mix it
Exactly.
in with the West Coast. And like you said about the digit system, that's something Jalen Tolbert was telling y'all. You know what I'm saying? He was like, hey, those those type of plays, that's something that's already instilled in him. That's something that he already knows in his skill set, and he can just go out there and ball out instead of having to think so many times, especially with the option routes, the hitches. You know what I'm saying? So with Mike McCarthy completely taking away those option routes and all that stuff, and just let them ball out, man, we gonna see some new stuff this
year. Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with that, man. Because listen, I think West Coast offense. I think of Jerry Rice, and he wasn't fast, so Michael Gallup can be that. Hey, Jerry Rice was an anomaly. Like MG is slower. Hurt Cooks is a slower Hurt Cooks. That's a horrible thing to say about. But hey, what I'm saying? Listen, like I said, I still think there's a role for Michael Gallup. I don't want him running the same routes as Brandon Cooks running, though. You know what I'm saying? I want Brandon Cooks to run my slants, to run my over routes, to run a lot of those clear out routes for me. But I don't necessarily want Michael Gallup doing the same thing. But there are things that Michael Gallup can do. You know what I'm saying? There are things that he can do. Like I'll throw a 9-ball to Michael Gallup because he'll go up for it.
A good stop route. He can get a little stop routes. You know what I'm saying? He's pretty good at yards after the catch when he gets the ball. But those go routes, that's something that that's his bread and butter.
Bread and butter.
Yep.
So let's see. So this is going to move into the Q&A segment of the liquor store, man. We spent an hour on here just talking about these different topics in regards to our position groups. So now we're going to answer the questions in the chat box. So y'all put y'all questions in the chat box, and we will have answers for you.
Oh yeah.
So we'll do that for a while, and then we'll sign out. It does nothing but ruin your blood pressure being pessimistic about the season while everyone is off. Well, that is, yeah, that's very true. Like I say, Stephen White said we deep now.
Yeah, we are.
Hey, shout out to everybody coming into the liquor store, coming in, showing love to Cole, man. I need y'all to go and hit the like and share button on all platforms, man. I need y'all to hit the like and share on Cole stuff. If you ain't joined Cole channel yet, man, my brother trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers. Y'all make sure y'all go hit the subscribe button for my boy, man. He does great work. So y'all go over there showing some love, man.
Check that, man.
It said, ask your guest if he would bring back Zeke. Joe said, would you bring back Ezekiel Elliott?
I would. I never had nothing against having Zeke. The only thing I had a problem with was the money we was paying him, but to bring him back in a more, lesser deal, I'll be all for Zeke coming back.
Right. Hey, put your channel in the chat box, man, because the original people wants to know.
I got you. Give me a second.
My brother Danny said, I say the truth, even when I lie. Hey, that's a classic right there, man.
Exactly.
He said Dak will set the league on fire this season. I agree.
He is.
I do.
And I'm ready for the change about it because everybody's the switch up about to be real, man.
Man, listen, Dak Prescott's going to put up MVP caliber numbers this year. Because he had the Dallas Cowboy quarterback, I don't know if they will actually give it to him. But, he'll put up some spectacular numbers in this West Coast system, given the fact that the offensive line play should be better, based on them talking about playing their best five, based on the fact his offensive personnel around him is better. It's a quarterback-friendly system. Like, all these things are lining up for Dak Prescott to have a very productive season.
Right.
And then Danny Savage. Listen, hey, Tyler Smith is going to be left guard. You know what I'm saying? I may not, we may not always agree with it, but your best five right now includes Tyron. You know what I'm saying? Because the Dallas Cowboys did not go out there and draft a tackle high, You know what I'm saying? They didn't spend a first or a second on a tackle. You know, Tyron Smith is your best tackle on the team right now, your best left tackle anyway.
Yep.
So, and you know, if you put Tyler Smith out there, you really don't want to play Tyron at guard, right? So, you know, your best five is Tyron Smith, Tyler Smith, Biotis, Zach Martin, and Terrence Steele when he's healthy. Those are the best five offensive linemen on your team. And when you put your best five on the field, you play them at their best positions. Like, I don't trust Tyron Smith to play right tackle. He didn't look good last year doing it. I don't trust Tyron Smith to play guard or center. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he's on the field, he got to play at the position he can play it. I've seen Tyler Smith play good at left guard. He played phenomenal at left guard. He said, here's a question for you. Is it true when you slap the horse shit off an Eagles fan's mouth, you have to wash your hands immediately because you can catch a disease? Yes, that is true. It is very true. Not only will you catch a disease, is I've heard it's incurable. You know what I'm saying? And it spreads to your nervous system. It makes you eat shit. So, you know, it's like a weird shit eater. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful, you know, by being around these Eagle fans. You know, burn sage, you know, take baths. You know, they're very dirty people. So, you know, I heard you're clean. They avoid you like the plague.
Definitely got to keep some bleach around, too.
Yeah, man. Definitely got to keep some bleach around. You know, definitely got to. Now, really, you know, for my Eagle friends, you know what I'm saying? I do have like one or two of y'all that aren't total pieces of shit. You know, y'all realize I enjoy, you know, all the discomfort and pain that y'all go through. Like, I still go back and watch, you know, y'all lose to the damn Kansas City Chiefs every other day. Like, it put a smile on my face to see y'all disgusted and in tears. Like, I love it. You know what I'm saying? Also, hold on, he said you might get bird flu.
Oh man, yeah.
Man.
You don't want that.
It said, is it true y'all threw stuff at Dak? We threw stuff at the referees.
Yeah.
Like, we threw shit. Oh, wait. We did throw. They did throw some shit at Dak Prescott.
How we know that was our fans? You know what I'm saying?
How you gonna call us the divisional boys and y'all have one championship in 60 years?
Right.
Like, hold on. Let me just ask you this question. How is a team with more championships and, you know, more appearances in the NFC Championship game, the divisional boys, when y'all took 54 years to win a title? Like, the entirety of your original fan base died and turned to dust. Like, they are the dust on our championships now. Like, that's how long it took y'all. They died, turned to dust. They accumulated on our championships. You know, 4 chips, 70s count, but 60s don't. Fam, y'all were winning championships back in segregation. You gotta go back and look when your championships were won. They didn't even have, listen, any championship with no nigga played does not count. Them white only championships do not count, kinfolk.
Hey, man. But see, this is the thing. Why are they trying to get on us about claiming our 90s championship Super Bowls? But they want to go out there and throw out those 1939, 1940
pre-merger, cuz, like, if you had won them in the 70s, you had won them then, I wouldn't have said nothing. Those were Super Bowls. You going back, you know, where it was not one speck of melanin suiting up. Like, everybody out there running fives. They wasn't running 4-4. They were running 5.
They don't know who the coach named. They don't know who the quarterback was. They got to Google it. You know, I'm taking a break from these birds, man. Because, you know, one thing about these Eagle fans, man. You know what I'm saying? They can dish it, but they can't take it, man. You know what I'm saying? I can say a couple of words and they be all in their feelings. Pride in my team.
Yeah, but see, he said history is history. Yeah, but we're talking about Super Bowls. We're not talking about, you know, we ain't talking about the equivalent of NFC championship games. You know, like, those are really what the equivalent is. The NFL championship is pretty much the modern day NFC championship. Yep. And then, you know, they had the AFL that ended up becoming the AFC. You know what I'm saying? So their championship games became the equivalent of the AFC championship. and then the NFL titles became the equivalent of the NFC championship games. So you still don't have Super Bowls. We talking about the best in the world. Y'all were the best in the NFC at the time.
But see, they like to add those championships games in, and guess what? They still don't have more than we do. We've been in the league less than we've been in it in 1960. They've been in the league in 1933. So from 1933 all the way down to 2023, they only got what? 4. If you want to include them championships, y'all got 4 championships, 3 championships. And y'all got that one Super Bowl that y'all just got in 2017.
And bro said slavery times. Oh, Django with the quarterback.
Did they have TVs then?
Of course not. I don't know. They might have had. I don't know. But hey, it's all love though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like this is all in good sport until people make it, until people make it personal. Like you want to count your championships, man. I ain't tripping. We still got more.
It's cool people.
Yeah, he probably a real good dude, man. We just talking shit. It's all good.
Yeah. But hey, real talk, man. Like as far as this season, I'm pumped about it, man. So are y'all going to the training camp? You doing training camp out there? Y'all going to Oxnard?
I do not know, my guy. Like I'm thinking about going, but it's a long way away from me because I stay in Texas. Like that is all the way in California. I ain't never been to California. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
I think Oxnard, you gotta to get there. You probably gotta go to cross over there by boat too. Like I don't know if that's true, and I think I heard some about that, but man, that trip ain't cheap, man. I'm planning on going one year though. Show that's because they be having a good time out there, but I'm looking forward to it, man. Training camp,
man. Real talk. Now, see, I'm definitely going to a couple preseason games. I'm gonna pop in, for some regular season games here and there throughout the course of the season.
Yeah,
so I definitely gonna do that. I'm gonna look into trying to make it to this Sports Expo next month. But we're gonna be outside. We're gonna be outside enjoying the season, man. But I ain't got nothing dead set just yet. I probably won't be able to make it out to Oxnard. But I will be covering the Cowboys, the entirety of the season. So even when I'm not there, I'll be covering it.
Okay, yeah, Jake Recruit said, okay, I ain't know, man. I've never been to California, so I don't know how I did, but if it's close to LA, man, that ain't too bad.
Man, real talk. And this, I hear it's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it gotta be fire the Cowboys go, right? They bougie.
Oh man. I want to go out there and man. My boy Simon's in the building. What's good, bro?
Hey, shout out to Simon Says, man. Salute to you.
That dude be tripping me out on Twitter, man. I'll be like, man. Some of his tweets, I don't even know what to say, but he always be tripping me out. That's my guy.
Ooh. He said, I want to see our third down running back pass block. Now, listen, my biggest hope, right, because I don't necessarily know there is a guy on this team that can pass block like that. You know what I'm saying? My biggest hope, is that they don't even ask him to do it. A third down, I want put your running back out there to run a route. That's all I can tell you. If you don't think they can pass block, just put them out there on a route. Spread them out wide. You got Tony Pollard, who's probably one of the fastest guys on your offense. Put him out there in a position to be successful in space.
Exactly.
So maybe you can get away with not having them have to pass block as much. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's gonna still come down to situations where they're gonna have to be required to do it. But you could mitigate that with your play calling, your offensive sets. I got no problem. Yep. Vaughn round 7. But would have drafted another running back earlier. Yeah, I would have drafted somebody that can at least had the body type to do what Zeke did.
I was high on getting at least Zach Charbonnet, or I was high on him.
That was the first name that came to mind. We were talking about Ezekiel Elliott replacement.
Yes, he would have been perfect for that. If we would have got him, I wouldn't even had no questions for a running back. You know what I'm saying?
Choctaw said. Choctaw said running back 1 and 2 is a figment of our imaginations. Well, you might be right, man. You really might
be right.
you might be right depending on how they distribute this ball, man. Because hell, they both getting close to the same amount of carries. Who really is running back 1 and 2? So you never know. Like, hey, so you never really want to know. He said, I wanted Spears. Like, hey, I like him. He was a playmaker. The only issue I had with some of these other guys is because some of the guys were Tony Pollard clones. Some of the guys were Tony Pollard clones. So I would have another. I have a duplicate of a great thing, but I wouldn't have somebody that would bring a different, dimension to my rushing attack. Yeah, I wouldn't have a power back, a short yardage back, a blocker, a blocker on these passing downs we were just talking about. Like those are the trade-offs. Either you get faster, you get more explosive, or you get a blunt force instrument to just continue to ram up against the defensive line. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So that's the trade-off.
Yeah, or what's that dude that the Lions got? I got his name that quick.
Cuz said there is, not one running back this year draft or even next. Well, listen, I'm not saying necessarily can be Ezekiel Elliott because he came in, was an All-Pro year 1. I don't believe that either. You know what I'm saying? At least the guy that they projected to be that was not available, right? They talk about Bijan Robinson. He was not available. So, the one guy in the draft that they even put on the level of an Ezekiel Elliott was not there for us to draft. So you're right about that, Choctaw. And then my brother did have a question. So what was your question, my guy? Hold on. Let me go back up here and see if I can find your tweets. Here you go. Speak to me, Bruce. My brother Bruce said he got a football question for me. What is the question? Go ahead, put your question down there, Bruce, so we can answer it for you. It said Choctaws. DP said you're not sure you see one of the next 5 drafts. Hey, Ezekiel Elliott was one of the. He was one of those guys, man. Like he was one of the highest touted running back prospects in years, man.
Yeah, but if only we used them right. Didn't burn them out too fast.
I asked who will have the bigger year 2 jump. Sam Williams, Deron Bland, Izzy, or Jalen Tolbert. That's a tough one. That is a very tough one. The reason I'm not going to say Bland because he's already hard. That boy had 5 interceptions last year. It's going to be hard to even build on that. You know what I'm saying? He was good in coverage, had, 5 interceptions, was in position at the entirety of the time. So I don't really know how much he can build on that. I think he'll be close to the same. I think he'll still be a great,
hard to repeat that type of performance.
Yeah, I still think he'll be good, but I don't know if he'll be the same.
I think Sam Williams would be a bigger.
I think it's either gonna be Sam Williams or Jalen Tolbert. Just on the fact, as a wide receiver, and one thing, like Sam Williams did go out there and produce. He did have 4 sacks. Jalen Tolbert, we're just talking about adding on to what you did last year. He only had like 12 yards. So if he had 400 yards or 300 yards, like he'll be done. Blew out what he did the year prior. So, in terms of just that, he would have the bigger jump, right? Yeah. But, Sam Williams would be a guy who we already saw flashes from. He got 4 sacks in a limited amount of snaps. If he get 10 sacks, that's not above. It really might not even be above what he did the year before. He would have got more opportunities.
Exactly.
So, that's a very tricky question. But to answer your questions, I expect Jalen Tolbert to have much more impact this year. I expect Sam Williams to get close to 10 sacks. Even if he doesn't get 10, I expect him to have at least 8 or 9.
I think he'll get it.
And then, Izzy was balling last year, though. That man came in, started in the playoff game, shut down Chris Godwin, then turned around the next game and had a good outing. So, it's tough, but because it's really tough for Deron Bland and Izzy. You know, because they already went out there and balled last year. You know what I'm saying? For me to say they're gonna take a jump. And then I don't think Izzy's role gonna change much because of the depth at the corner position. So yeah, so I think they're great, but you know, I think it would be between Sam Williams and Jalen Tolbert to have the the biggest jumps. And then you can just say that for defense it'd be Sam Williams, for offense it'd be Jalen Tolbert, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a better way to word that. We got a ridiculous amount of depth on defense. I can't wait to watch them. Bro, this is gonna segue me into another question for you, Cole. Do you think we have the deepest cornerback room in the NFL?
Yeah, I do. We got a young room, and as long as they leading by Dan Quinn's system, they can be successful. So I see we have a lot of depth, especially since, you know what I'm saying, we weed out the weak, the weakness, like Anthony Brown, you know what I'm saying, kind of out the way. We kind of know, we started to build like a new chemistry in the room. I believe, yeah. And with the safeties, I mean, the safeties alone, you know what I'm saying, we deep. But as far as corners like Izzy and all them being, in the mix, I believe we do have a deep cornerback.
Man, listen, just go down the line, man.
I mean,
and hey, shout out to that boy Philly halftime. Salute to you for sliding through the liquor store, man.
That's my boy.
Indeed, man. So peep this though. You just go down the line. Trayvon Diggs, all-pro cornerback. You're 1A, so to speak, right? Because you're gonna show love to Stephon Gilmore. You ain't gonna call him no 2.
Right.
Stephon Gilmore, former defensive player of the year, was a top 10 ranked cornerback last year according to Pro Football Focus. It's your cornerback 1B. Then you go down to the run Bland, gonna be holding down the slot. He had 5 interceptions last year, right? Next guy up after that, Jordan Lewis, was a starter. All right, go ahead, man. I go on a single.
All right.
So yeah, Cole has to step out and check on some stuff real quick. But we're gonna be holding it down till my boy get back, man. But yeah, man. So like in regards to just your top 4, Trayvon Diggs made an All-Pro selection, right? Stephon Gilmore is a former defensive player of the year. DeRon Bland had 5 interceptions last year at the slot position. Jordan Lewis, right, as your number 4, is a former 3rd-round pick, is an exceptional slot player, right? He's an exceptional slot player. So really, if you go just 4 deep, like what fourth corner in the league is better than Jordan Lewis? Like what fourth corner in the NFL is better than Jordan Lewis? I really couldn't think of one, man. And this is not me just trying to gas these guys up, or you might be able to say there are guys better than Trayvon Diggs. You might be able to say there's guys better than Stephon Gilmore. You might even be able to say there's some slots better than DeRon Bland. But in just pure depth, going 4 deep at corner, like these are the 4 guys. These 4 of the best cornerbacks you can run out there at the same time. Yeah, facts. When he is your 4th or your 5th cornerback, right, you are good. He said, I'm a better corner than him. I'm not injured. Well, this is the thing. We are going off the impression that he was going to be completely healthy, by the time that the season starts. Hold on. What 5th cornerback is better than Izzy? Man, I be forgetting about my boy Izzy, man. Hey, shout out to Izzy McQuamu, man, friend of the show, man. Salute to him. Yeah, if you want to count Izzy, and that's really, where it gets a little touch and go, because do you consider Israel McQuamu a member of the safety room, or do you consider Israel McQuamu to be a member of the cornerback room? Right? Because he can do both. He can do both at a high level. We seen it. We saw him go out there in the slot and shut down God winning the playoff game. We seen him, you know, play free safety and play in the box before. We see him do all those things that Dan Quinn has asked him to do at a very high level. Like, just to throw that out there. So yeah, and he adds size. Like, Izzy's a big dude. Izzy's a big dude with a lot of length. So he definitely adds to that. And then you think about guys that they've been saying have been excelling, you know, in the OTAs. They were talking, you know, they were giving flowers to Kelvin Joseph. You know, a lot of us had left him for dead at this point, but you know, they gave him his flowers. They said he's been balling in OTAs. You know, so you really just look from top to bottom. You have depth. You have a ton of depth, and then you got quality depth. It's not just some randoms off the street or some old corners, you know, that ain't been good in years. They're still living off their name. These are guys that are producing. He said his only problem with Zeke was that we paid him past production. And listen, if the problem with Zeke was just the contract, you know, which it was for a lot of people, understandably so, right? He's not going to make any kind of money this year. You bring him back, veteran minimum, about $1 or $2 million to get back 12 touchdowns. You know, Ezekiel Elliott could be in a position where he's underpaid for the Dallas Cowboys if you bring him back. Because if he plays for $2 million and he gives you 700 yards and 10 touchdowns, he's underpaid at that point. And you're winning. You know what I'm saying? So, and then the Dallas Cowboys are winning all the way around because one, Ezekiel Elliott, if he come back on rock that number 15, is going to be one of the highest selling jerseys they put out there, right? So number 15 Zeke jersey is going to go crazy, you know, in terms of jersey sales. Two, you know, he'll be another red zone threat for you. So he'll probably end up with another season of double-digit touchdowns. He'll probably have like 10, you know, just from getting handed the ball on the goal line. So, you know, if he ends up with like 700 yards, 10 touchdowns, you know what I'm saying, as a rotational running back, he's underpaid. The $2 million is underpaid. And that is true. We all know that Kellen Moore's system did not really suit what Ezekiel Elliott was. You know, they moved away from giving him, you know, a lot of volume carries. It was at the point where you knew Ezekiel Elliott would at least get 25 carries a game. You know, did y'all know that Zeke? Did you know that Zeke did not have a 25 carry game since 2019? Like, Zeke has not gotten the ball 25 times in a game, you know, in over 4 years. And it's not like there were games where he was not going crazy. There were games where Ezekiel Elliott averaged over 5 yards a carry. There were games where Ezekiel Elliott averaged 6 yards a carry in that time frame, and he did not get the ball. You know what I'm saying? So you could say part of it was the injury, because Ezekiel Elliott did play through 2 lower body injuries these last couple of years, right? You could say it was that. You could say it's the accumulation of carries we gave him his first part of his career. But you could also say it's the simple fact that Kellen Moore was not giving Ezekiel Elliott, you know, the ball an adequate amount of times for him to be efficient. Because remember, he was a body punch, you know, kind of running back. He will wear you down, you know, through numerous carries, and then he'll still be going strong in the fourth quarter, like Derrick Henry. You know, Derrick Henry was averaging about 28 carries a game. 28. Zeke couldn't even get 25, you know, with Kellen Moore. So it is what it is. I would much rather give Ezekiel Elliott an opportunity to run in this new zone run scheme, you know, behind an offensive coordinator that actually has a plan for his run game. said, I say, who cares about the money? Where would we have been without him those years? We would have been a lottery team. Yeah, we would have been a lottery team, man. We would have been a lottery team without Ezekiel Elliott for a lot of those years. So, and that's the thing. When I speak about the money, it's just from the perspective of the front office. Like, I don't care because it's not my money. Like, I will pay people whatever. I love spending other people's money. I just want to throw that out there. So, it does not make me no mind what nobody in the NFL makes. But, when we talk about the money, we just talk about it from the perspective of the front office, why they view guys or why public perception is like that. In the liquor store, we mind our own paper like in school. You keep your eyes on your own paper like they told you back in elementary, my guys. So, yeah, man, we up here talking about, our dearly departed brother Ezekiel Elliott, and what he can still offer to us. And, I said it like this. People were talking about the money. If we bring Ezekiel Elliott back, he'll be underpaid in Dallas because he'll probably get 700 yards, like 10 touchdowns. And then, you have all that production for a veteran minimum. And he'll probably have like a top selling jersey because Zeke number 15 will go crazy in the store. Zeke number 15 Cowboy jersey would be a bestseller.
And that's why I was bringing up the politics. I was like, man, Jerry Jones gonna he gonna be ready to bring that out. He knows it's gonna sell. That's what I'm hoping, that politics don't get involved, because Zeke can still produce, man. Like, he missed 2 games and he got like 800 yards. I believe, he was 1,000 had he not missed those games. You know what I'm saying? So he's still a very productive back. He's just not that breakaway, back that we had back in 2016. He's not that guy, but he can still, produce. Like, I know when we play the Eagles, he always has a great game against the Eagles.
He be killing the Eagles.
You know what I'm saying? They stop him. You know what I'm saying? And so he still got that juice in him, man. For some reason, I don't get why people be thinking he can't, he's washed, just like that. He still got a lot of juice in the tank. And I want to see how he'll produce in this system. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were dealing with Kellen Moore. He kept on having them run through the middle instead of hitting them edges. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward. I would like to see him go through, this new system and see how he produced in that new system.
Man, I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly, honestly. Because listen, he gave you 12 rushing touchdowns last year, in a system that really did not care about the running backs. Exactly. Let's be real. Tony Pollard gets love because he's Tony Pollard and he's a former wide receiver. If he did not run a 4.3, he would not have nearly as much production as he had on 190 carries. You know what I mean? So, Tony Pollard gets love, for what he did, but Tony Pollard was able to do that, alongside of Ezekiel Elliott doing a 1-2 punch at running back. So I don't really think that what we did was conducive to either of our running backs, because hell, Tony Pollard might have got robbed of All-Pro selection, right? Having to share carries. Ezekiel Elliott might have got robbed of All-Pro selection, having to share carries. So I don't really think it worked for either one of them in the grand scheme of things. It worked for the team, but I definitely do want to give Ezekiel Elliott an opportunity to run in this zone scheme, because even though historically you would like guys like Shady to play in a zone run scheme because you can dance and hit the hole and get the cutback lane, we saw Marshawn Lynch go crazy in the zone run scheme. Yeah. So, a power back can still be very effective as long as they have vision.
Yeah. And going by that picture that we saw on social media with all of them working out and they got Zeke, do you believe that it's a good possibility that he will come back?
Great possibility, man. Like as Dak described him, he said this one of his best friends, man. Like, they still work out together right now. They still working out. He at Dak house all the time working out along with the rest of the team. You know what I'm saying? He's staying in shape. He looks good. He posts some workout videos. He's completely healthy at this moment in time. It would not be a bad idea for Ezekiel Elliott to sign with the Dallas Cowboys.
Especially since he's just sitting there.
Yeah, and listen, There is value to only playing for one team. You know, there is a value in only playing for one team. Who week in, week out put rushes for 200 every game, no damn body. Who's breaking 100 yards every time? The league is more team friendly. There's not one guy no more. Well, there are teams that still do the workhorse thing. That's how Josh Jacobs got his yards last year. That's how Derrick Henry got his yards last year. You know what I'm saying? So there are still teams that do the one feature back thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't name Saquon Barkley's backup. Can y'all? I don't know who the hell that is. I can't name Derrick Henry's backup or Josh Jacobs' backup. You know, so there's still guys that get, 250, 270 carries in a season. You know what I mean? So there's still guys that live like that. He said, what has it done for them? We're talking about production. We're not talking about winning games. We're talking about production and just how that flows. We're not talking about if it leads to winning games, if it leads to this or that. We're talking about overall running back production. Like, this is not an attack on Ezekiel Elliott. If anything, this is more condemning on how they use Ezekiel Elliott. Right? Because we all know Ezekiel Elliott with those carries has been an all-pro. Every time Ezekiel Elliott has gotten to 300 carry season or a 290 carry season, he's been an all-pro selection. He's been the rushing leader. Like, all these things, I think he still could do that if they gave him the opportunity to do that. You know what I mean? It just, at this point, the Dallas Cowboys do not want to have a workhorse. Like, they went out their way to make sure that Tony Pollard got there in the 200 carries.
Exactly.
Said our Achilles heels are O-line. Said, I don't care about production. We're not winning when it matters. But hey, this is not a conversation about other teams winning. We're talking about what we should do.
See, that's our problem, man. We worry about where all of them. I'd be happy with your own team, man. We about to do something big, man.
Hassan Haskins, Henry's back up. Who the hell is that? Who the hell is Hassan Haskins?
I don't even know who that is, man.
You must be related to this man. You knew his name. I don't know this man.
That's something I gotta Google.
And besides, more so, right? It's more of a passing league right now. Anyway, we see a majority of the teams that win championships, throw the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are some wrinkles to it. Right? There are some wrinkles to it. Exactly. And that's my point. So we're on the same page now, aren't we, Choctaw? Zeke is nothing more than a goal line back at this point. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he is at this point. As long as he can be productive for my team, I ain't tripping. He said Hassan Haskins was decent in college. He was a Michigan running back. Okay, see, I ain't never heard of the boy. But that's sort of my point, though, man. The way that we conduct business here in Dallas, you know what I'm saying? Like, they do not want a workhorse back anymore. Like, that is just pretty much the point that I'm making. The reason that Ezekiel Elliott's production is down is because he is not getting the carries that he used to get. Yep. Can we all agree that if Ezekiel Elliott, was getting 300 carries or 290 carries, he would still be viewed as this old Ezekiel Elliott? Because there were even points where Derrick Henry wasn't averaging over 4 yards. Nobody cared because he still had like 120 yards at the end of the game because they had the ball 35 times. So more questions, drop them in the chat box. But we've been on here about an hour 38. If y'all ain't got no more questions, we will depart. But we still want to talk to y'all. Yeah. So go ahead and drop those questions in the chat box. He said he kept Blake Corum on the bench. Who? There are 2 questions. Now go ahead and drop your question in the chat box, man. We rocking. Also, man, everybody has not already done so. Please hit that like button. Please hit that share button, man. And also hit that Cash App, hit them super chats, hit them super stickers. You know what I'm saying? We are still running that raffle for the Dallas Cowboy tickets. First place winner will get a ticket with a seat attached to it for this home game against the Philadelphia Eagles. Second place winner will get a home game ticket for general admission and standing room area. And then the third place winner will get a PlayStation 4 or a Dallas Cowboy jersey of the winner's choice. You might even be able to get that Ezekiel Elliott jersey when he comes back. You might want to get that new 15 because I feel like it's in the air. I feel like it's in the air.
No.
Let's see. Six interceptions, 6 points is 6 points. I agree with that. As much as me and you disagree, we agree on so much other stuff, Choctaw. Hey, and that's all that matters. We're not going to always agree about talking points, especially in the middle of the off season when we're not watching real live football. But there's a lot of other things that we agree about. We agree the Dallas Cowboys going to beat the shit out the Eagles, so let's all disagree on that. Byron said, "Stop running. Z got the shotgun. He'll be fine." At this point in his career, I feel you on that. I didn't have an issue with that when he was younger, but he probably lost a step. That 4-4 probably more of a 4-5. So I don't mind just handing the ball off to Zeke. Under center, left or right, stretch, toss. But my issue was just stop. Just stop running him. Just stop doing halfback dives. Up the damn middle of the field, man. And I feel so much more comfortable about our offense. Like I really would. But that makes no sense. You're telegraphing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. It's been proven like whenever he hit them edges, it's always been like a breakout run. I remember he was running behind Jason Peters in the Giants game and broke out free on his side.
Mm-hmm. I do agree. But man, we're finna wrap it up. Final word is on. I'm finna actually go out there, and take a look at my damn self. So, I'm finna stop making content and start consuming content for a little bit. So I thank y'all for sliding in. He said, hey, for real, the original people, go left, go right, boy. Hey, that's what they do. That is what they do. But yeah, man, Cole, before we get out of here, man, let everybody know where they can find you at, my guy.
Oh, yeah. Hey, y'all can find me, Cole's Cowboys, on Twitter and YouTube.
Indeed, man. And as y'all know, it's your boy, Henny the Moore, reporting live from the liquor store. I appreciate my brother Cole for sliding in here, showing so much love to the liquor store, man. We will definitely have to do this again real soon, man. And y'all, before y'all go out here, get too far away, y'all please go hit that like button for my boy. Please go hit the subscribe button for my guy, man. We're trying to get him up to 1,000 subscribers, man. So anything y'all can do to help my boy out, man, make sure y'all do that for him.
Appreciate it, man. For sure.
Indeed, man. And hey, I always say to drink and drive responsibly. But if you see an Eagles fan in the middle of the road, man, matter of fact, I'm gonna stop myself just short because one of y'all damn near ran over AJ Brown. So I'm just gonna say Affleck. Y'all know we get some insurance on your car before you run into an Eagles fan, man. God bless. Hey, yes, Joe, he is on YouTube. It's Cole Cowboy. Cole's Cowboy on YouTube. All right, y'all. God bless.